Tim. I definitely can relate to your message. Our next speaker is going to be Tanya, and the title of her speech is Have Success in Your Finances. So please welcome Tanya.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow guests, and fellow Toastmasters, I'm giving my speech on how to have success on your finances. How many of you here have a financial goal? Okay. Whether it's to buy a car, pay off debt, a house, whatever that financial goal is, I want you to have that in mind as I give the presentation. The first part to having success in your finances is making sure you develop a budget. Evaluate where you are standing right now in terms of your finances. For example, what do you spend money on? Do you spend money on groceries? Are you going out to eat? Those things that do you buy, like entertainment? Like, where's your money going? Before you create a budget, you want to know where your money's going. So there's a lot of software out there to help you create that. To look at that, I'm sure you have bank accounts. Do all of you have a bank account? Okay, and if you pull up your transaction history, whether it's online or whether you receive your statement, it's going to show you where your money's going. Now, the second part of that is you want to create a budget. Okay, you want to make sure if you feel like too much money is going somewhere, you want to cut down on that. If you're using credit cards, you definitely want to cut down on that. Credit cards, to make sure that your credit score is high, you don't want it to be more than 40%, because that's going to decrease your FICO score. FICO score is the name for the score that the credit bureaus give you, and this score is eventually going to help you buy a car or buy a house. So once you have a budget, you're going to work to stick on it. At first, it's not going to be easy, okay? It's not going to be easy to stick to it. I know from experience. And then you just have to repeat it again and look, okay, I'm going to stick to it. Now, how do you know if you're actually following your budget? The next part of that, you want to be able to track it. Ways in which you can track it, there's some software online. It's Yodlee.com. Yodlee. It's spelled YODLEE.com. Mint.com, if you're familiar with that. That shows you exactly, you can create goals, financial goals, and it'll tell you what your trends are in terms of what you're spending your money in. So you want to make sure you look at that, and make sure that part of your tracking, that you're also tracking savings. You don't want to just focus on in your budget to cut down on costs. You also want to make sure you save money, because what happens when you fall out of money? Where's that emergency fund? Usually we resort to credit cards, right? So that's why we want to make sure you create an emergency fund and you're tracking that you're investing in that. Usually you want to make sure you start with 10%. If that's too much, at least 5%. And you want to evaluate that, and if you achieve the goal, you want to celebrate it. Don't celebrate too early, like, oh, I just saved $100, let me go buy an iPad. No. You gotta hold on, so take some steps. And you want to evaluate that, just repeat the process. And make sure that you evaluate your process and go back to that financial goal that you have. But first, make sure you take action by looking at where you are in terms of your finances. And that will eventually have an impact on your family. Because if you're able to do that right now, think about your children. I don't know if your parents talk to you about money, but if they didn't, it's now the opportunity to start creating something for the next generation.